My name is Nicole, and today we are analyzing how the survivors of the Holocaust recovered after their liberation from the concentration camps. Let's turn to Jewish concentration camp survivor Thomas Bergenthal for more information. So, Mr. Bergenthal, please tell us about your experience and how you were liberated.
Well, I was put in Sachsenhausen concentration camp, which is near Berlin. In March, 2 of my toes became frostbitten, and I was taken to the infirmary to have them amputated. When Sachsenhausen was later evacuated in April, I was left behind with the other prisoners who could not walk. The next morning, I got up, and it was very, very quiet, except for the shooting coming closer. We began hearing small arms, fire, and suddenly, I think it was early in the afternoon, a Russian soldier had driven in with a jeep and was ringing the bell saying, "You're free."
How did you feel in that moment?
We felt a great sense of relief because we expected to be shot, but I didn't have any sense of the tremendous joy that other people must have experienced. I was alone in many ways. I think if my parents had been there, it would have been different. And I was taken in by members of a Polish army unit under Russian command. The soldiers assumed that I was a Christian Polish child, and I had experienced enough discrimination to know that it was not safe to tell them I was Jewish and from Czechoslovakia.
What happened after that?
Well, one of the soldiers, who was luckily Jewish, found out that I was Jewish and arranged to send me to an orphanage. But in, I believe it was 1946, my mother tracked me down and I was smuggled to Germany to be reunited with her.
What happened once you got to Germany?
Well, we settled in Göttingen and tried to return to our normal lives, and I actually even returned to school.
Did you ever discuss what had happened, or did you just completely push it out of your mind?
Well, you see, there was a lot of reminiscing about the camp and, where was this and where was that? What happened? The truth of the matter is that we often laughed about things in retrospect, about things that happened that were funny, about this or that happened. You couldn't handle it if you only reminisced about all the terrible things. I saw the fact that I survived as a victory, that we had won over them. They wanted to kill us, and we made it. We didn't give them the joy of killing us. So there was a tremendous sense of satisfaction, that of survival, unlike what one reads now that people supposedly feel bad that they survived and others didn't. We never had that feeling. Neither did my mother, because my mother survived. We felt very bad, for example, my father didn't survive. He died just shortly before the end of the war, but we never felt that. Guilty about the fact of surviving.
Did you feel any anger towards the German people after your tragic experience?
One day, my mother and I were sitting on the balcony listening to the radio. The radio spoke about the sentences of the German war criminals, and we were listening to that with sort of with joy. And from that balcony, we could see German families walking by, and at that point, when I first came back, I would have loved to mount a machine gun on that balcony and shoot all of them. But then you realize that, these are people. You don't know whether they killed your father. Most of them probably didn't, and you make friends. For example, we lived in the house with a Catholic family that had actually helped the Jews in town and had been in danger themselves. The sort of abstract hatred comes transformed into the fact that they're human beings regardless of whether they're German or not German. And not every German was guilty.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today, Mr. Bergenthal.
It was my pleasure.
Welcome back. Dr. Daniele, psychologist, victimologist, traumatologist, and director of the Group Project for Holocaust Survivors and Their Children, is here with us to furthermore discuss how the Jews and the victims of the concentration camps recovered. Tell us, Dr. Daniele, what happened to most Jews after liberation?
Well, as you can probably imagine, the victims' suffering didn't end after their liberation from the camps. In the years following the Holocaust, they constantly battled with private and painful memories, while attempting and mostly succeeding to rebuild their lives in a new and lonely environment. Many suffered with PTSD regardless of whether they went through the camps. Traumatologists like me have studied the process of rebuilding Jewish families and what they went through after the Holocaust.
How did Jewish families change in order to rebuild their lives and recover?
I've noticed through the research that I've collected over the years that some victimize themselves, others take on defensive mindsets, while others numb themselves to feel protected. And a lot of them found it hard to open up about their experiences, either due to fear of of not being taken seriously, or because of the people around them, and of the people around them not being able or willing to listen.
Were there some that recovered better than others? If so, why?
Survivors who immediately went to Palestine after the Holocaust had different experiences from the ones who waited a few years, as they had no family members, few possessions, and had generally come to from a bit different background. Those who waited a few years before going there had a chance to rebuild their lives in another country, start families, and could recover better.
What do you think played the biggest role in helping these victims recover?
I believe that throughout the making of connections and engaging with society, they were able to heal and find meaning in their lives. Finding a purpose, a goal in life, is what truly allowed these victims to keep pushing forward and reach that goal, instead of dwelling in the horrors of their past. Connections, love, and support is what allowed all these people to recover and get better in the end.
Thank you so much for speaking with us today, Dr. Daniele. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine.
In essence, recovery for the Jews after the Holocaust was difficult, but also different for many. For some, like Mr. Bergenthal, it was easy to return to his normal life, but for others, it was difficult due to their traumatic experiences in the concentration camps. Many dealt with their trauma privately since they are scared of people ignoring them or ridiculing them. Despite these struggles, many survivors were able to successfully rebuild their lives and focus on the future rather than the past. Like Mr. Daniele said, it is very hard for survivors to rebuild their lives in such a new and lonely environment, but many were able to do exactly that. It's inspiring to know that these victims refused to stay just victims and instead reestablished their lives. My name is Nicole, and thank you for your time.